This is the Lulich Corner. I'm Jordan Lulich with Lulich Attorneys, and today we're going to talk all about home inspections. I've got the pleasure to sit down with Devon Morante with DBJ Home Inspections. Devon, thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Today's going to be good. I love talking about home inspection. So, first off, what's a home inspection? I mean, I know we're kind of like going back to the basics, but what is it?
So, home inspection is a visual assessment of the property. It's strictly visual. It's not technically exhaustive. We're not allowed to tear down walls like you may see on something like Homes on Homes.
Right.
We're not allowed to do those kind of things. So we're going to go in, visually inspect every system in the house, everything that's accessible. We're going to use certain technology to help us see things that maybe we couldn't see without it. And we'll be able to give a buyer or even a seller of a home, if we're doing it for a seller before they list it, a good idea of the condition of their home, either before they're purchasing or before they're selling.
What to expect from a visual aspect of what they're purchasing, right? You can't tear out the drywall,
exactly,
but you can look from a professional standpoint. You can give a professional assessment of the visual aspects of the home. So are you mainly working with buyers and sometimes sellers, or are you also doing these inspections for insurance companies?
So we do them for, we're not doing it for the insurance company.
Okay.
If it's for an insurance inspection, it's usually for a buyer or a current homeowner who already owns their house and needs to change insurance companies, or sometimes, usually depending on the age of the house, if it's something that needs a 4-point inspection, a lot of times those are only good for a year. So every year you got to get another one for the insurance company to be able to get your insurance. Wind mitigations are good for 5 years. So if you're a buyer, you're going to need the wind mitigation. It's going to help you get some credits on your insurance. If you're a homeowner, every 5 years they're usually going to ask you for a new one to see if anything's changed.
So I'm a home buyer. I'm buying a home. I call you up. And I say, Devon, I want you to do my home inspection.
Okay.
Right. So going into this home that I'm under contract for, what type of expectation should I have of you as that home buyer who's thinking about purchasing this home?
Okay. So expectation as a buyer, like I said, expect it's going to be visual. We're not going to be able to tear down walls or anything like that, see inside walls. We're also not allowed to move furniture and appliances and that kind of stuff. So expect that we're going to go in, visually assess everything, and we're going to give you all the facts that we find. I'm not supposed to give you my opinion. My opinion technically doesn't mean anything to you. Things that bother me may not bother another person. Things that bother another person may not bother me. So my job is to go in, give them all the facts of everything that I found, and allow them to use that objectively to make a educated decision on what they want to do, whether they want to move forward, if there's certain repairs that they want, or if they want to back out and go find something else.
Okay. Now you mentioned wind mitigation before, so let's back up. And what is wind mitigation?
So wind mitigation, it's a state form that we have to fill out, and we have to back it up with certain pictures. It's basically certain protections for the home against wind damage, basically against high winds in heavy windstorms, hurricanes, etc. So they want to know the age of the roof. If the roof is newer than March 1st, 2002, they give the person a credit. Depending on when the house was built, if the house was built and permitted after March 1st, 2002 and meets those building codes, they give them a credit. Depending on the shape of the roof, if it's a full hip roof with no more than 10% of the perimeter that's any other roof shape, they get a credit. If they have opening protection, so different areas, it's different things. So in our area, we're not in the high velocity hurricane zone. That is only Dade and Broward.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Correct. Yeah. Most people don't. So Dade and Broward, high velocity hurricane zone, every single opening on the house, whether it's glass or a solid door, it has to be protected to get any kind of opening protection credit. In our area, as long as all of the glass is protected, whether it's impact glass or some kind of impact rated shutter, then they can get a credit. And there's different levels of credits. But it's an all or nothing credit. So if you have one piece of glass, let's say over the front door, like on top of the front door or something, or in the front door that's not impact and has no shutters, it kills the whole credit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. So
and
be
then-
cognizant of what type of glass you're putting in if you're changing out that glass, or even if you're constructing, be cognizant of those little pieces. I think that's something that we can take away.
Yeah, so I've actually seen it where a newer home, somebody changed out the door because they didn't like the solid door and they put a glass door in, but it wasn't impact, and they didn't put shutters, and it killed the whole credit. Now they can change the door and we can update it later.
Yeah.
But at that time they're not able to get the credit. And then the other really, really big credit on the wind mitigation is how the roof is attached to the structure, how it's actually tied down
Up in the attic. Yeah.
Correct. And they have different levels of credits for that. So
Okay. So we were talking about that home inspection before when, if I'm a buyer, I'm looking at a property, I call you up to do that inspection. So what type of an inspection is that?
When you say what type, what do you mean?
Yeah. So I call you up to do a home inspection. What type of an inspection is that?
Like I said, it's visual. And
but is it a 4-point inspection?
No.
So what's the difference between that inspection?
So that's our full comprehensive inspection.
And what's the difference between that comprehensive inspection and a 4-point inspection?
So 4-point inspection, it's again state form that the insurance company wants. They really want to know just the age and condition of 4 of the major components of the home: the roof, the plumbing, the HVAC, and the electrical. So there's certain panels that they had issues with. They were more fire hazard prone. That they don't want to insure those panels, so that electrical panel may need to be replaced, or they don't want to insure the house. Certain types of older wiring that they don't, it was more of a fire hazard. They don't want to insure that, so you have to replace it. When it comes to plumbing, there's certain types of plumbing, same things. It was more prone to leaks. There was class action lawsuits, not allowed to be used anymore. Something along the lines of like polybutylene.
Right.
Something even older than that, galvanized supply piping. It kind of corrodes from the inside out, closes itself down, and then
explodes.
Yeah,
and you got a problem. Yep.
So there's all different things in those different categories that we're looking for, that they just want to know that the house doesn't have them, and if they do, most likely they're not going to insure it and they're going to want it replaced. Roof leaks, that the AC's working. Weirdly, in Florida, they want to know that the heat's working. We very rarely use it.
Once a year, twice a year. Yeah.
But they want to know that the heat's working. So they want to know that these systems are working. And it's just a very basic, minimal inspection.
Okay.
Compared to
that comprehensive.
When we're going in the house, we're going over everything. We're going through every single system in that house, checking everything, going a little more in depth into things, as in depth as we can, versus that 4-point inspection.
So if I do that major inspection with DB&J, can I expect that there's not going to be any failures for any of the major components of the home? Is that going to guarantee me that 6 months, year and a half, 2 years, that nothing's going to happen?
So there's no way to guarantee that nothing's going to happen.
There's no way?
They're electronic and mechanical components.
Yeah.
They can break at any time.
Yeah.
There's certain age ranges of when they say things are more prone to breaking, and we'll note that on the report and let the customers know. Now, however, that being said, we as a company do work with a third-party warranty company to provide a warranty for all of our customers.
Okay.
It's not an end-all, be-all. It doesn't cover everything that you could possibly think of in the world, but it covers a lot of things.
Okay.
And one of the most important warranties on that, and that everybody loves, like one of the most popular, we have a 5-year roof warranty.
Okay.
So they get up to $3,000 of coverage toward roof repairs over a span of 5 years.
Okay. So there's if a buyer's looking for additional guarantees, there's some resources that you have that they could purchase some additional guarantees.
So those we actually include. We have ones that we include.
Okay.
We don't charge the customer. It's something we pay for just to give our customers a little extra peace of mind and a little extra coverage.
So it's included in your inspection.
And it's included in all our full inspections, our full comprehensive inspections. The same company that we work with for those warranties actually does offer like your typical 12-month warranty that you would see, like American Home Shield and all of that stuff.
Right.
However, they actually extend it to 18 months if we've done an inspection for the same price.
Okay.
Because they know what we're doing, what we're going in, what we're seeing, and then they go based off of our report. If it wasn't in our report, it's not pre-existing.
Yeah.
So, some of them may have like a 3-month waiting period on some of the others. And if it breaks within 3 months, they're going to say, oh, that was pre-existing.
Right.
Even though it wasn't. It was working for 3 months.
Right. But they report so that they kind of waive that requirement.
Correct. Because they have our report. They know what the condition was when we were there. They know that we inspected it. They know how, what we do and how well we do it.
Yeah.
So there's no pre-existing conditions on that warranty. And they give them an extra 6 months for free.
So what in doing a home inspection, what are some of the type of limitations of a home inspection?
So as we've said multiple times, I can't see through walls. I can't see through floors.
So being the visual aspect.
Yes. I'm not allowed to move people's furniture and appliances. So just to give you a good idea of like how our warranties have helped one of our customers in the past, like big time.
Yeah.
One of our warranties is it's called mold safe.
Okay.
It's 125 days against visual mold. So if you start doing remodeling and you start opening walls and you find something behind a wall, there's no coverage for that. But in a situation like this, we're not allowed to move people's appliances.
Right.
My single mother who spent everything she had to get into this house, when she moved in, a family member bought her a new fridge. When she pulled the fridge out, and it was like encased in a little enclosure, so I couldn't see behind it when I was there. When she pulled the fridge out, the coils on the back of the fridge had been condensating, and it was pushed up against the wall. There was mold all over the wall back there. My mold safe guarantee that covers up to $2,000 covered that remediation with only a $200 deductible out of pocket for her.
Wow.
Where she was freaking out because she didn't have the money.
Yeah, but you just spent all that money on her house. Yeah.
Yes, and it was considered visual because it was on the outside of the wall. It wasn't inside a wall. We just couldn't see it because there was a fridge in the way.
Because there was casing.
And it was encased.
So that's a prime example of what the limitations are, but then what type of coverage that you guys offer for those situations.
To try and help with that stuff.
Now, is DB&J, are you doing, and maybe the audience would want an explanation of what a WDO or WDI or termite inspection is, but is that something that you all offer, or do you have to go to a different company to do that WDO, that WDI, and that termite inspection?
So as a home inspection company with just a home inspector's license, you are not allowed to do termite inspections in the state of Florida. Okay. It is a separate license. You have to have a pest control operator's license.
Okay.
My company, we have that license, and all of my guys are duly licensed and able to do our own termite inspections.
Okay.
As we started growing and we started getting bigger, it was really hard to find somebody that could keep up with the amount of volume that we were doing.
Yeah.
So I was able to go and get that license. It makes things so much easier because you don't have to, if it's a gated community, you don't have to call in multiple companies. You don't have to worry about them coming at different times. And we could do it all in-house.
Yeah. One-stop shop.
Exactly.
So kind of as we wrap up, if you're talking to an agent, if you're talking to a buyer, if you're talking to a seller, what advice are you going to give them when they're looking for that home inspector on what to look for and who to hire?
Okay, so advice for everybody when they're looking for who to hire: do your research. Make sure look on Google. Check the reviews.
Yep.
If you look at our reviews, we've got over 1,000 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know another home inspection company anywhere around here that has anywhere near that kind of review number and that kind of amount of good reviews. Everybody's gonna have some bad reviews here and there.
Of course.
Read them. Most of the time you can see what's going on with the person that's leaving that review if it's only kind of a few compared to like everybody else who's leaving amazing reviews.
True.
It happens. Sometimes you can't please everybody. Sometimes people are just unreasonable and they don't understand the limitations and certain things. So, read the reviews, see what kind of reviews that people have, do your research on them. If you have friends, ask around. If you have friends that bought houses, ask them, hey, who did you use? Did you like this
Word
person? Do you know these people? Exactly. Word of mouth. And then when it comes to as a seller, when you're preparing for a home inspection, make sure try and clear as much stuff as you can. So especially the big stuff. Give us a clear pathway to the electrical panel, to all of the major appliances like the AC, the water heater, all of your appliances in the kitchen, attic access. Please leave us space to get in the attic because the attic is super important. We always do the attic last because we want to see everything else around that house before we get in the attic because the attic can tell you so much. And if we see something in a certain area, okay, I really need to try and get to that area to see what's going on in the attic. So for a seller, that's my best advice. And don't sweat the small stuff. So there's always going to be a big list of small, normal maintenance, normal wear and tear kind of stuff. Don't freak out over that as a seller or a buyer. Yeah. Because a lot of times sellers freak out. Oh my God, he said my house is horrible. No, this is all normal stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
normal wear and tear.
Your house is not horrible. I didn't say your house is horrible.
Yeah.
And as an agent for a seller's agent, prepare your seller for what an inspection is and what to expect.
That pre-listing inspection.
And then, well, for any inspection, if you're having an inspection on your sale, prepare them, educate them on what it is. Worst case, let me educate them. If you have somebody and you're not sure, call me. I'll educate them on what to expect and how the process is going to go. And then same thing for a buyer's agent. Prepare your customer for what an inspection is. Typically, it's going to be a big list of normal maintenance, normal wear and tear stuff, and then we're going to kind of have our few things that are really important. The more we can prepare a customer for how things are gonna go and how they're supposed to go and how they normally go, the better they're going to understand that and not freak out and sweat the small stuff.
Setting those expectations.
Exactly.
That's good. Well, Devon, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a great talk about home inspections. Devon, how can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
So they can call us on our office. It's 772-777-1688. You can email us at dbjhomeinspections@gmail.com. You can go to our website at dbjhomeinspections.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Again, DBJ Home Inspections on Facebook.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in. This is the Lulich Corner, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.